I'm heading out here on on a ride to test my GoPro mounted to my chest. The ride I did to Lajitas and back the other day, I had it mounted on my handlebars, and it picked up lots and lots of external noise that I can't eliminate most of without eliminating my voice in there. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the view. I'm in Study Butte, Texas, just outside of Big Bend National Park. I'm headed north on 118 out of Study Butte. And my plan is to go about 8 miles or so, which will take me to the top of a pretty big hill. And during the ride, I'll get lots of chances to try different road surfaces to test out this GoPro. I like the idea of having it on my chest because I think it'll give a better perspective. Most of the videos I've seen have been of mountain biking, where they have it on their chest. It gives a nice perspective, including the handlebars and the front tire and stuff sometimes. But what I'm concerned about with mounting it on my chest here is I like to when it's mounted on the handlebar here, I can pivot the thing in any direction. So it's nice for picking up the scenery along the sides. And I'm afraid with it on my chest, if I want to get the same perspective, I'm going to have to put myself in a precarious position that may or may not work. Something like this, that's probably about all the further I can get around right there without doing something stupid. And I do enough stupid things as it is without adding to it. So I think we're off and running. We got a bit of a hill here. I'm going to intentionally try to get on this portion of the berm that has more stones, pebbles on it, so I can hear them grinding under there. It'll be interesting to see what the effect is on the sound. If I get out here in the sweet spot, it's a lot quieter, especially when I'm going uphill slowly. Going uphill slowly, even this noise out here on the side isn't too offensive. There doesn't seem to be anything clattering on my bike today. I'm afraid that the connection I had from my GoPro was making some noises that turned out as loud clicks. So we'll see. I've also ordered external microphone and ways of mounting that on my GoPro, which I'm hoping will allow me to put the thing back on the handlebars and be able to have a full range of view and still have good quality audio. Yeah, we're at 9% here now. I just discovered that I didn't have my drive in the lowest gear. So that's a good sign that I was able to do as well as I did. Alrighty, let's let her rip here for a little while. this shoulder's a lot smoother than the one that I was on most of the time between Study Butte and Lahidas, but that won't last. You've got Willow Mountain, one of my faves up ahead there. We're at over 3 miles here now, which that's a good thing. I didn't think it was that far. Silly me. I was looking at the time of day instead of the trip odometer. I've actually gone just 2 miles. So boo-hoo, but that's okay. It's all good. This is a GoPro 6 I have. And it seemed to work out pretty good for hiking, audio-wise. And it was only after I found out how bad the audio was when I went to Lahidas that I started investigating it. And it looks like a lot of people are disappointed still with the audio of the GoPro 6. Be interesting to see what effect wearing it up here has on the gear shifting. That was another major distraction in the Lahidas trip. 5%. 6%. This the grade on this GPS that I have is kind of flaky. Sometimes it takes up to more than 10 seconds to update, which doesn't help you out much if your grade is changing fairly rapidly. I tried to get some information from Garmin. They weren't willing to share their algorithm with me, but they did offer that it was barometric pressure that they calculate that change with. And if I get a real strong wind, it reduces the pressure. Oh, we're at 8% here now. Did I say this wasn't very long? It's January 26th here in South Central Texas, as it is everywhere. Almost. Well, everywhere in the United States. And the temperature is in the 70s. So going uphill without much wind, I'm breaking out in a pretty good sweat here. We're coming up to gate 3 of Terlingua Ranch here. Terlingua Ranch owns most of the land around here, including around Study Butte and Terlingua Ghost Town. We're coming by gate 6 of the Terlingua Ranch. That goes off to the west of 118. Coming up on a hill here. Turns out that it's just hors d'oeuvres for the mountain, or the monstrous hill just beyond it. 10%. Planing out a little bit here for now. We've got to give up a bit of this elevation before we start back up the next section. It's all good. This will be a good chance to test out the audio at a faster speed. I'm going to go out here on the sweet spot, start out with, and then I'm going to move over here. And I've got all that clicking from the rear. It's a ratcheting sound. Hopefully that's not having a major impact on me here. Well, let's do this hill. Headed into this hill, I've got a total ascent so far in the 8 3/4 miles that I've come. I've got a total ascent of 835 feet. So we'll see how much we add to that going up this puppy. At least we got some shade up there, closer to the top. I'm thinking this is a hill in 2 parts though. What we're looking at up there may not be the top. We'll see. We're into the shady part. It wasn't all that hot, but I still like it. We'll be coming to a point here probably before too long when we start to plane out a little bit. There won't be any complaints from me. We're at 11% here. It's not planing out yet like I hoped it would. But I'm getting pretty worn out, but pretty sure I can do this. Still at 10%. 9%. 7%. Getting a little easier. We're at 3% now, and it is a hill in 2 parts, but the second part is not much to it. But I'm going to go ahead and go up there, get a bit of a break here. We're down to 2% now. 0. We're on flat land. Ah, loving it. Hey, we did it. So we're looking north, up towards Alpine. Alpine's going to be another 70 miles or so up that way. And I am not going to go down this next hill, but let's take a look at what it looks like. I've come up this one before, but I can't remember whether I stopped anywhere along the way. I had my other bicycle at the time, so there's probably a good chance that I needed to stop in there somewhere. Well, alrighty then. My bike is custom built. It's got a Chumba frame. About the only thing on it that's steel. Just about everything else is composite. Gearing is 32 sprocket in the front and then 12 gears in the back, going from, I don't know, 12 up to 45 or something like that. and the guy that rides it. My total elevation after coming up that hill, that last hill, is 1,036. So we added another couple hundred coming up that hill. No big deal in the big scheme of things. And now, 9 miles of almost all downhill. So let's just sit back and enjoy the ride. Okay, well, we're coming up to going back down this monster hill. I'm going to try maybe talking a little bit louder, because the problem is when it comes to post-processing the audio, when I try to reduce any particular frequency, you know, even in a lot of this road noise is coming from the middle spectrum. When I reduce that, why, my voice is going away too. So I should probably get in the habit of talking a little bit louder. I'm just going to try that as an experiment here as we head down this hill. And so here I'm off to the side. I can see in my rear view mirror there's nothing behind me. So I'm going to try it out here on the sweet part. We're up to 25 miles an hour now. I guess I imagine the wind is probably getting pretty strong here. We're up to 34 miles an hour. Thank you very much, sir. Looks like 34 is probably about the fastest I got. I had to take my eye off the instruments there for a while because, as you saw, that guy passed me. And I stayed out on the left side of the white line there because I knew he was able to see me, and he could see plenty ahead of me, ahead of us, what was going on there. Otherwise I would have moved over onto the shoulder. This is about the biggest hill I've got going back, I think. This is a beautiful section of road through here. Even though they did have to cut out a lot of the natural landscape to create some of the colors. And I'm sure that's why they cut all this landscape out, was just to create those colors. Okay. Let's get downhill again. 22. That's it, 29. So we're downhill about 4% right now, and that'll last for a little while here. We're having fun now. This is a test to see if this GoPro is picking up the Garmin in this light. It's pretty much in the shade. We're about 4 miles out of Study Butte on the way back. We got Willow Mountain on the left. And I'll wait till I get down here a little bit farther to point out B Mountain. You can see from here as Willow Mountain slopes off down to the left. That was the route that Clay and I took to go up it last year when we went up together. Hope to do that again this year. That's B Mountain off to the right there. when we get to B Mountain, we're basically back to Study Butte. Here's another downhill test for the audio, but right here we got some smooth stuff. So I'm out here on smooth blacktop right now. Lots of wind though. We'll see what difference that makes. It's getting late enough in the afternoon that the sheer face of Willow Mountain here is starting to glow, and that will continue to increase as we get towards sundown, which isn't for another hour and a half or so yet. But we got the added bonus today, and I don't know whether you can see it or not, but there's a partial moon up there. Here we are at Gate 2 on the way back into Study Butte, and I've stopped just for the obligatory shot of the Chisos Mountains in the afternoon, and you can see Casa Grande. Well, I had to stop and do a quick charge on my GoPro battery. I forgot to bring extra batteries along with me, but it didn't add more than a couple percent, so at least I get a chance to apologize for cutting off so quick just right back there at Willow Mountain. But let's see if we can get some more in here. Okay, coming back into Study Butte. Here we have the very end of B Mountain, and the national park opening up in the late sun in front of us there. We got a hill coming up here, and I anticipate that my battery isn't going to last much longer here, so I'm just going to sign out and let it run out, and hope that some of this video turns out to be good. So far so good on that battery. This is Big Bend Adventures and Resort. I think that's the name of it. Coming up here on the left. They have a motel there, but also they got the RV park back there, which is where I'm at. See if I can needle my way in to my camper here, to my fifth wheel, without cutting through anybody else's space. Well, there I am, right there ahead of me.